So I got to the place in my life where basically I had my own home, I had a wife, I had 2 kids, I had a 66 MGB. And as a child, I had said, when I achieve this in my life, poof, happiness should be there. And yet I was the most miserable person on the face of the earth. And yet at this point in time, when I was sort of empty, when happiness eluded me, my wife started going to AA. And when she came back from AA, she had this almost cherub-looking face. I used to say, I went to college, I did all these things, you didn't do half of that or even 1/3 of that. How dare you have the happiness that I think should be attributed to me? Never did ask her. What I did ask her is, what she did say is, we need to separate because they tell me in AA, if I live with a drunk, basically, I'm never gonna get well. I was sort of happy in a way because we had sort of killed our love for each other. Our boys were 5 and 8. So I basically got my stereo, my MGB, drove away from the house to a singles apartment closer to work. I'm going to Alpha Beta store in California. There's this book rack, and there's a book that says, are you satisfied with your life at my eye level? I remember saying, no, I'm not satisfied with my life. I threw it in there. Went back to the apartment, I started reading it, and in this book, this lady says that it's impossible for you to perform your way to God. I used to think when I quit drinking, when I quit doing speed to get to school, when I quit cheating on my wife, then God's gonna love me. But basically, this woman said, the only way that you can be accepted by God, if you accept the ultimate performance that Christ did on the cross for all your sin, for all your failure, for all your alcoholism, for all that you cannot be. And I remember getting on my knees, and I remember saying to God, God, I don't even know if you're real. But if you are real, and if what this woman says in this book is true, that you died for all my sin, forgive me, God. I invite Jesus into my life. Give me a new life. Didn't expect much more, but all of a sudden I felt like someone took 30,000 tons off my body as a kneeling there. And I started to weep like a baby, a man who never cried. It wasn't in my culture to cry. Men never cry. I used to preach to my kids. But I'm crying, this cathartic, holy cry. I call my wife and I says, you won't believe what happened. She says, oh yes, I will, because in AA they told us, if you don't pray for the people that you hate, you will continue to drink. My drinking, my doing speed, my running around, my sin was gone. Not only gone for the moment, it was gone. My wife and I moved back together again. And still, once you've destroyed a love, it's not easy to bring that back. But God has a way of intervening and giving you the tools. So God began to restore a marriage that everybody had probably taken bets on. If anybody cannot make it, it's those two. We were so dysfunctional. Yet God in His mercy and grace invaded our space and made us whole. I've been serving God now for 40 years. He's brought me through so many trials and tribulations. What can I say other than I love Him and to Him be the glory.